Hello and welcome to today's webinar. We're here with two students and you're going to hear their side of the story about campus life and the ins and outs of being a student at University of Pikeville. This is part of the GROWL webinar series where we're welcoming students and families to campus. I want to go through a few housekeeping notes before we get started. I'm Stephanie Stiltner. I'm the Director of Family Connections, but I'm also a member of the GROWL Welcome Committee. And we want to make sure that students have completed their GROWL Canvas course, which includes the quiz, and they have talked to their advisor. And you have also gone to the section called What's Next. That's got a wealth of information, but it's also got a checklist of items you need to complete before coming to campus. So make sure you look in those sections and complete that information as soon as possible. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. There's contact information there within your Canvas course. So we are going to go ahead and start and talk to these folks here and learn about their side of campus life and what their experience has been. But students and families that are logged in and joining us live today, this session's for you. So we want to make sure that we get your questions answered. And if we don't know the answers, we'll certainly find out and follow through with you later and get those answers. But we want to make sure that you feel comfortable when you come to campus and just kind of hear from their point of view. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. If you want to turn on your microphone or video and wave at us if you have a question, that's fine. If you want to kind of stay in the background and use the chat feature, I'll be monitoring that as well. So it's a conversation, so we want to make sure that you get, like I said, you get your questions answered. So I'm going to turn it over to our students. So Morgan, if you don't care, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll let your partner introduce himself, and then we'll just start a conversation.
Okay, hey guys, my name is Morgan with a Y. I'm from Perry County. I will be a senior in the fall. I'm a cheerleader, biology major, psychology minor. Absolutely love it up here.
Hello, my name is Shek. I'll be a senior in the fall from New York City, basketball, resident assistant, and student ambassador, and I'm a social work major.
Does anybody have any questions to start off with that you just kind of maybe wanted to make sure we cover before early on as we get started? No? Okay. Guys, why don't you kind of just start out just talking about, I don't know, talk about how, can you go back to your orientation? I know it seems like forever ago. It really wasn't. I know it wasn't. But in college years, it seems like forever ago. So go back to your orientation. What were you nervous about, or what were you excited about, or what were something you didn't know that you know now?
I don't know. One of the biggest things that I always try to encourage anybody, especially as like an incoming freshman, is just to like get involved when you get to campus. That's definitely going to look different this year coming in, but like don't sit up in your room and do nothing. Like don't like if you're shy, I get it. I was not as outgoing as I am now before I came here, and now I will literally talk to a wall. But just like go out of your way to talk to people, go out of your way to meet people, and like try to make those connections up on the hill, and like you're going to find those people that will literally be your lifelong friends. And like I have gladly found some of the best people I've ever met here. Anything to add?
Yeah, so great to be on that. Like you had to get involved, but also I wish someone would have told me, like, you know how you come in as a freshman and you're not sure what to do, and so you just stick with whatever you've told your parents your entire life. Oh, I want to be a doctor. But like college is a time to kind of explore, and you don't have to explore with taking classes. You can just go to those professors and ask them, like, maybe if you're interested in biology or if you're interested in a social work, you can go to like the social work professionals and ask them questions. And that's kind of what I did, but not until my sophomore year. So my first year, I didn't really branch out of my major. And after talking to some people, I realized that, I want to be a social worker and I want to work in social work. So just ask questions. You got to try to figure out what you want to do. And so the best way to do it is to just speak to the people that are currently doing it or know a lot about it.
Going off of what he just said, it is completely okay to come in and like not know what you're doing. Like do. But it's also okay to come in and like have a dead set path and then decide sometime throughout your freshman year or even your sophomore year, anytime through college that like, I don't think this is what I want to do. Because when you get to college, one of the biggest things that happened for me is like you're introduced to so much stuff that you didn't even realize was really a thing. Like you've been preached so much stuff throughout your life that it's just like, you need to do this, you should do this. Like these are some of your only options. And when you get to college, the doors are opened a lot more to see a lot of different stuff. And like that's just something that I didn't expect to happen. So it's okay to decide that I don't know what you want to do. It's okay to get here and be like, I'm dead set on this and end up changing your mind. Like all of that's completely okay. Just come in with an open mind would be one of my biggest things to say.
Yeah, if you don't care, expand on that a little bit. Shek, talk about your story in detail about how you changed majors as a sophomore.
All right.
And how that how you kind of found that passion, because you knew you wanted to help people, right?
So basically, it was like the end of my freshman year. I just kind of say sophomore because that's when I got into the social work program. But my freshman year, going into it, I had no idea what I wanted to do in life, but I know I wanted to help people and I wanted to travel. I know that was the two things I wanted to do. So that's what I told my advisor. And my advisor, I guess she see my grades or something like that. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna just put you in biology and see how you like it." So I started off in biology. I passed the classes and stuff like that, but I really wasn't liking the route with biology, and that's just no knock on biology. I didn't think it was a fit for me. So after speaking to some people, someone mentioned social work to me, and so I actually emailed the social work professor and I asked her if I had a meeting with her. Her name is Janessa, and she sat down with me and she just gave me the ins and outs on the professional social work and what it's all about. And instantly I fell in love. And so that's kind of where I found my passion for it. And she just gave me all the requirements to get into the program. I took the classes that I need to get into, that I need to take. And then literally from then on, it was just a bunch of research on what route I wanted to take with social work. I started looking into the United Nations, which their headquarters is back home in New York. And so I decided that I wanted to work in the United Nations and do field service. So I'll be able to travel and help people all over the world. So that's kind of my story.
Wow. And we love your story. And you actually, to be honest with you, you found yours really quite early in your academic career.
Yeah, I got lucky.
I mean, so don't panic if you're at the end of your freshman year and think, "Oh my gosh, Shek knew what he was going to be when he grew up by this time." Well, Shek's special. You know, I had to say I'm in my 40s and I still don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up. You know, you still just kind of follow your interest and things like that. So, Morgan, what was one of those classes that you took? Because your major is what? Biology.
I'm a biology major with a psych minor.
Okay, so what was a class that you maybe took to outside of your core requirement or outside of your major requirements that filled your core requirements that really interested you, that you were like, "Hey, I didn't know this was a thing"?
That's a tough one.
One course that I took, like it was called healthcare ethics. It's like an online course. It goes like for religion, but you learn a lot about healthcare with it. And like it's not required for biology major. It doesn't count towards anything for my biology major, but like it does kind of reflect back on that stuff. And I really like that course because like you really learn like when you're in those tough situations and like you're in situations that like maybe you're not comfortable in or you don't know a lot about like what the other person like their background and stuff. Like it shows you how to approach that in like an ethical way. And like if you're going into anything like within the medical field, healthcare field, anything like that, I feel like that's a big course just to like show you that stuff early before you're really like in that scenario yourself and you've never like experienced it, you've never like heard about it. So that's one course that I really enjoyed taking for that purpose. Like I feel like it's prepared me for like not even just healthcare, but even just like giving tours on campus, meeting new people, like different stuff like that.
Perfect. Any questions from our guests so far? Okay, I'll just keep watching the chat and you just pop them up there anytime you want. But you mentioned talking about your work experience in admissions. So you talked about branching out in classes. Don't get headstrong that, go in that I want to be on this one path and this classes, things like that. Make sure you keep your mind open and follow your interests and things like that. But outside of outside of the classroom? You mentioned working in admissions. You mentioned being student athletes. So what opportunities have you found at UPike that kind of helped you find some passions outside of the classroom as well? You're like, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was fun, and I like to do that.
For me personally, I would say one of the biggest things would be honestly like working in admissions, because like I do student ambassador, and then we're both usually also GROWL leaders. We both do both of those. But like those are two jobs that like allow us to be with admissions throughout the year, and like just the people like in the offices in here, like I literally everywhere on campus you go, it's like they're your family. But like I feel like I've had a third family in here. Like I have a third family in student success. Like just different offices on campus literally feel like my family. And the biggest thing with admissions for me is like I get to meet so many people. I get to tell my story over and over and over to all these incoming freshmen. I get to like kind of help them like ease into that and like calm their nerves and just be like, hey, like I was literally like this at one point. I was so nervous to come to college. I was so quiet. I was to myself. And now like here I am doing a webinar series that like all the incoming freshmen can see. Like it's just opened me up so much and like given me so many opportunities. So that's one thing that I'm definitely very thankful for.
Sure. I can't say it better. I mean, it's similar, you know, just getting out of that shell, and it's very easy to do at UPike with it being such a small school. You don't have to go out of your way to, you know, get out of the shell or get an opportunity, because all of it is right in front of you. I mean, any job that you want or any group that you want to be in, any organization, it's right in front of you. All you have to do is take one step to get there. So, I mean, if you're coming in and you're really shy, which I was a pretty shy person. Everyone is pretty shy, I feel like, when they get into college, because it's a bunch of new people. But I mean, UPike does a really good job at getting you out of your shell, and also helping you feel like you're supported and you have people around you that want you to be successful.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that we mentioned in some of the previous webinars when we talked to faculty and staff is, you know, introduce yourself to faculty and staff. And the more we know you, the more we can help advise you. You know, we can say, hey, you know what, Sheck, you'll be great for social work. You know, Morgan, you'll be a great GROWL leader. You know, that sort of thing. So that all plays right into that. And we have a question. Are we still going to walk the 99 during our new student orientation, which is part of, it's a tradition we started a few years ago, a lovely tradition, a heartfelt tradition, an important tradition. And as of right now, during new student orientation, with the restrictions that we currently have for crowd size, I don't know that that's possible. I don't know that we're going to be able to do that at the time before classes start. It's a very important tradition to us, trust us. I'm not sure that it'll happen right before classes start. But we will, if there's a way to possibly do it later, if social distancing restrictions are lifted, or we have another way to celebrate that, we're definitely looking into that. And I will talk to the new student orientation leader soon, and I'll add that to my list of things to bring up to her to say students really want that as well. So we'll check on it, because trust me, we don't want to lose that tradition. We love it. We absolutely love it. And to be a GROWL leader, students can apply to be a GROWL leader. There's an application process and there's an interview process, and they can do that after their freshman year. You can apply to do that. I think, Morgan, have you done that since?
We have both done it every year that we've been able to do it. And like, I highly recommend it. Like, it's literally just one of the best experiences that I've had at UPike, is getting to welcome those new students in every year. And this year, when all of like COVID happened and we found out that we were not going to be able to have GROWL sessions, I literally cried.
Me too.
Just because, like, it is such a heartwarming experience just to get to like welcome all the new students and get to meet them before they're on campus, and like let them know that like they have a friend in you. Like if they see you on campus and they have a question, they need something, like you're that person there for them. Like they can come up to you anytime. I just feel like it's such a big thing, and it's just so sad we don't get to have it this year.
I know it's important. I know that was my biggest grief that I missed during the transition, that we kind of had to leave campus. But talking about when you're talking about coming to campus and you're easing, like you said, you ease that transition, try to calm some nerves and things like that. What is how long did it take for you guys to truly feel comfortable on campus? Morgan, you're just from, an hour and a half away or so, and Shek, you're, from multiple states away. Each of you answer that. How long did it take you to feel comfortable? Like, you're like, I got this. Like, I don't have to look at my phone. I don't have to look at my room numbers or my schedule. Like, you felt comfortable with your day-to-day routine.
For me personally, I moved in about 2 weeks before school started my freshman year because I cheer, and cheer always moves in early because our season starts a little bit before school starts to get ready for cheering football games. But just moving in that 2 weeks, I felt better because there's like not as many students on campus, so you can kind of like have an easier time finding your way around. And like it's not like a big campus, but like when you're a freshman, you're coming in, it's just like, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? But honestly, within like 2 or 3 days of just being on campus before then, like I felt like I knew my way around like building wise and stuff pretty well. Once classes start, within like a week, probably I knew when I had what classes, where they were at. Like I didn't have to pull out my schedule and look at it anymore. We only have like 3 classroom buildings, I think, on upper campus, like 3 buildings that you could have classes in up here. And then there's the Coleman College of Business on lower campus. So it does not take long at all to like really fully adjust to knowing where that stuff is. And then like having those classes within your majors, like you meet the same people over and over throughout those first few weeks. And it's really easy to make friends that way. And then also if you come in and you're an athlete, you're around the people who are on your teams so much that like those become your friends. Like it's really easy to meet people, make friends, get comfortable here. Like that's not anything that I had a huge problem with at first.
Yeah. So me, all fall athletes usually move in earlier. And so me, I started playing football here before I played basketball. And playing football, we moved in a little early. So many football players, so y'all are kind of doing the same things. Y'all are athletes, so you have a lot to talk about. You can talk about the NFL. You can talk about anything that has to do with athletics. So you kind of have friends right there when you first move in, but it's kind of another adjustment when the rest of the students move in and classes start. You start going to class. And so that was kind of another adjustment for me. But literally, as soon as I got after like the first week where I like started getting used to my classes and I knew where my classes were at and things like that, that's when I felt comfortable. I felt like, all right, I got this college thing. And then like it's like another adjustment. It's like it comes in phases. It's like another adjustment when you get the first couple of exams or the first couple quizzes and you're like, oh, okay, well, I either need to do a lot better, or maybe you studied really good the first time. He's like, oh, I got this. I think I got this. So I think it's different for each person, depending on where you come from, depending on homesickness, depending on just the path that you take. I mean, everyone is different, but I just tell people like, it's early. It's going to come early. And if you're worried about, oh, how am I going to do this, stuff like that, I don't know how it works, but it happens. I mean, some students, they come in and they're like, oh, how am I going to find friends and stuff like that? Like it happens. It might be someone that you just bump into in the cafeteria. It might be a roommate. It might be a teammate, or it might just be someone that you drop your books and they help pick you up. Like it could be anything, but it finds a way to happen. And so that's nothing to worry about. And just over time, everything kind of falls in place, in my opinion.
So, but also, you get your stride and you get comfortable with campus, but then before you know it, the semester changes. And now even when we went from 16-week classes to 8-week classes, that'll change even faster. So how do you anticipate, talk about the difference in fall semester and spring semester, because they feel different and it's hard to put into words, right? So talk about how you're constantly changing, but you do get comfortable with the rhythm. Kind of it's because you have to get through that whole first year and come back for the next fall, right? And then it really feels like you've got it. That's a big retention thing, because your first year, you're still just going through everything the first time. And then talk about how that feels different the first year into the second year a little bit.
I don't know. Like for me, it's like my first semester in college, I thought it was really fast. And then I didn't realize how fast it was until the second semester hit. Because like the second semester, the spring semester, you have spring break for a week. And it's like, oh my goodness, like right after spring break, there's only like so many weeks of class left. And so like it literally flies by. Like you're having an exam, you're having a test, you're having an exam. Next thing you know, it's finals week. Like everyone is studying and stuff like that. Everyone's in the library for finals week. So it's kind of a fast-paced thing. I mean, and then now where we're changing to 8 weeks, it's going to be faster, but you're going to have less of a load. So it kind of balances out. So instead of having like 5 classes, you only have like 2 or 3. And so I think it's going to fit and it's going to balance out, but it's going to go even faster. I mean, you're going to have a couple weeks of lecture, a couple weeks of quizzes, and then right there you have finals week. So I'm kind of excited for it personally. I don't know about more.
Yeah, I definitely agree with it flying by. Like when you're living it and going through it and like you're having exam after exam, it's like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. Like, what the heck? I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And then like you get to finals week of the fall semester and it's like, dang, that felt like it lasted a second. Like once you get to the end, it's like, dang, that was really quick. And then like going off what he said, I do feel like it's going to be like even faster pace now that we do have the 8-week courses, but we do have less of a load during those 8-week courses. So it should be easier to like focus on like the 2 or 3 courses that you have at a time than trying to study for like 5 exams that all happen to fall on a Friday.
For real. And just to add, like, it probably went faster for me and Morgan than any other student just because of all the stuff that we do. Like, not even like the working, just like athletics. I mean, you're on the road and stuff like that. So if you're an athlete and you're also expected to be a 4.0 student, that includes a lot of studying and stuff like that, then the semester is going to fly because you're going to be on the road. You're going to come back. You got to go to class. You got to come back. You got to practice. You got to eat. You got to sleep. You got to do all this stuff. So before you know it, the semester is going to be over, and then the year is going to be over. But I mean, all in all, it's just an amazing experience when you go back and look at the memories and all the stuff you've accomplished. It's well worth it.
Getting
Oh,
heartfelt.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. So go ahead and talk about that. Talk about kind of tie in how you balance being a student athlete and time management, and then go ahead and touch on how do you study. You know, what does that look like? It's not Morgan sitting out on the pretty campus lawn under a tree with a book, you know, and earphones and her color-coded note cards and highlighters, you know, just like they do in all the recruitment books, which is a pretty picture. But what does studying look like, time management, and being a student athlete? I'll kind of talk about that.
Okay, so first off, going with studying, I'm going to be straight up. You're never going to know how to study. Like, it's going to be very rare that you find your one way to study and it works for every single class that you take all 4 years, all 8 semesters of college. Like, that is just not going to happen unless you just look up and it does. For me, literally class to class, I have to change how I study. From my biology classes to my psychology classes, I study different for them. And even like within my biology classes, between like chemistry and biology, I have to study different. Like it's just like how the classes flow. One big thing that I always encourage freshmen to do is like try to find upperclassmen who have taken those courses before you and ask them how they've studied. Because you're going to have to study different if a professor, like one professor might prefer giving multiple choice tests and then the next professor might do short answer. Like, and that's going to affect how you have to study for it. But one thing that usually works for me, I will go into the library and I will have out like all my notes. I'll go through our PowerPoints, and usually stuff like when you're looking at PowerPoints in classes, if there's anything that's like bold or like in a different font, like it stands out, that's usually something you're going to have to look at. So I'll go through my PowerPoints and I'll try to like pick out the stuff that I think like, okay, I think I'll need to like look over this a few more times. And then I'll make sure that I write down that stuff that like stands out. It's bold, different stuff like that. And I will go through and write all that out. And then like for me, like repetition is a big thing for me. So like I will write stuff over and over. And then once I've wrote it like 3 or 4 times, I'll pull out note cards and write it on the note cards and then just go through those flashcards over and over until I take the test. Another thing that does not work usually is having your phone out, trying to listen to music while you study, trying to like watch Netflix in the background, because you're not going to study much. You're going to get into that show, and before you know it, 3 hours have gone by, and you're like, dang, I didn't do anything. So that's why I have to go to the library and do it. And I'll usually set a timer on my phone for like 30 minutes, stick it down in my backpack or something in a pocket where I can't see it if it goes off or anything. Then when that timer goes off, I can have like a 5-minute break or something. Just give yourself like little incentives like that, because sometimes studying absolutely sucks. You're just over the week and it's just like, I don't think I can study anymore. But if you push through when you pass that test, you're going to be so proud of yourself and it's going to be worth it. And then kind of going off like time management and being a student athlete. For me, cheer is a year-round like sport. We move in before school starts. We finish usually in March because of like cheer and basketball games. We'll finish like mid to end March, and then you have the month of April finals or the end of April. So you have 1 month that like the sport is not going on. It's literally all year. And then the busiest time for us is like January, February, especially. And like a normal day in January might be like right before we go to nationals. Oh, you have a 6 a.m. practice. I have class at 8 a.m. I have class at 10. I have a tour at 11. Grab lunch after the tour. Go back by the office to work a little bit. Go do some homework. Grab dinner. Have my second practice for the day. So a very day, but like once you get into the swing of it, it's really not bad. And I kind of feel like that's a big reason. Like we were talking before this starts, like we both work like 2 jobs in the summer. We're constantly moving, but I feel like it's because during the school year we're constantly moving, so we can't just like sit still in the summer. Like we have to keep that up. But like it's not the end of the world. It's not hard to balance. If you want to do it, you're going to do it. That's something I like full on believe in. Like if you want to do it, if you want to be a good grade student and you want to do your sport, you're gonna make it happen. I feel like I just blabbed on for like 2 minutes.
That was great though. That's some information that is needed for incoming freshmen. And just to piggyback on what she was saying with time management, it's different. There's so many different methods. You can literally look up online, go on YouTube and look up different methods and try it out and see what works for you. Everyone is unique and different, so different methods work for different people. Me, I like to use my phone, and I'll just use my calendar on my phone and literally plug in my entire day, and you can get notifications. I like how I can get notifications because I'm very forgetful. But I mean, all athletes, we use something called Team Sync, where like they have your entire schedule there. They have like all of your classes and all of your practices, any game days. If you're about to travel, they have your travel itinerary, all that stuff. And so that helps out with sports. But if you're not with sports and maybe you're working a lot and you'll be busy that way, then you can literally plan out your week. I recommend maybe getting a calendar in your room, and anytime you have an exam or anything in the beginning of the semester, you might as well just when you get your syllabus, write down all of your exams, all your assignments for your classes, just so you know when they're coming up. But me, I recommend, I like to use my phone just because I like that little ding when you say, oh, your assignment is due in a week or something like that. And I can just focus on it.
Okay, going off of him. One thing, like student success is your first year advisors, but they're also literally like another part of your family on campus. Like they're absolutely amazing people, and they do time management sheets, and they work for some people. And then there's people like me that they'll make that sheet for me, and I'll look at it, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And then the next morning at 8 a.m. I'm already off my time management sheet. So like you really just have to find what works for you. For me, writing it down and like reading it, it's just like, oh yeah, I have to do that and I'll do it later. Like I'm a big procrastinator. I do always buy a planner at the beginning of every year, and I will go through once I get my syllabus and put every single assignment, every homework, every test, everything like that into that syllabus. And then usually on like Sunday of each week, I will go through and add in like when I need to work that week, when I need to like try to find time to study. And like when I get up each day, I'll look over that syllabus and be like, okay, this is what I have to do today. But like I can't plan it out like time by time by time. I'm going to do this and this and this at this point in time, just because like my brain does not work like that. I'll be like, yeah, I can do that later. So like, what's the point in trying to do it now? But like you just have to find what works for you.
Absolutely. You mentioned, we'll get to the fun stuff in just a second, but you let us segue into, you mentioned student success. It is hard being a student, and it's hard being a family of a student, you know, and families, it makes a big transition for families when students come to college, whether they live on campus or they stay at home. It's a big transition for everybody. It affects your family. So in addition to, how often do you communicate with your family, or how did your relationship with your family change? In case we have some families going to tune in, and how did it change if the people are worried about, you know, how often they'll communicate?
Well, my relationship with my mom actually got a little stronger, but I moved out the house when I was 16, and so it started then. But for many people, it's going to probably start 17, 18 when you go to college. And so me and my mom, we talk every single day, if not multiple times a day. I call her. I try to beat her to the call, because if she beats me to the call, that's usually because I missed a day, and she calls me the next day and she'd be like, "Shit, you don't love me no more. You don't love me no more." And so, me and her, we talk every day. And one day, she just broke it down to me. Like, we were just having a conversation, and she just broke it down how important these calls are to her. Like, we don't even have to talk about anything. She just wants to hear my voice, and that does it for her. That makes her day. She knows that one of her kids are good, or in good hands. And so it does a lot. I mean, you might not realize it at the moment right now, but I feel like as you get older, as things start getting tough, you know that they're always the people that are there for you. I mean, no matter what goes on, they're always on your side. They're always going to have your back. And so, it's a lot. It's a big load, that's on them when when you leave the house. I mean, I don't have any kids, but my mom always tells me how, like, she misses me like every day, and she wishes I could just go back to when I was 10 years old and come home every day so she could see me. But I mean, it's a sacrifice for your success. And so, I try to call my mom every day. That's different for every relationship, every parent to child relationship. It might be just a once a week thing, and that might do it for the parent. So that's just a conversation with the parent and seeing what works with them. But I mean, I'd say call. Don't let that relationship break. I mean, that's the time where you have to make it stronger, and kind of, realize how grateful we are to, be able to have our parents around and speak to them and things like that, or guardians.
I would agree with that. I try to call my mom and dad like every single day. Sometimes I just get busy and it slips my mind, but I really am trying to be a lot better about it now, just because, like, as you get older, you definitely realize, like, why they get upset when you don't call and stuff, like why they feel the way they feel. I definitely realize that a lot more now as a senior than I did as a freshman when I came in. But when I first came to college, I went home more often than I do now. I didn't necessarily go home all the time, but I would go home like 2, 3 weekends in a good month, just to like go see my family and stuff. But the farther I've gotten through college, like the more busy I've gotten. I've got more jobs. I've just have more stuff on my hands. And like last year, I saw my family like the 1st of August, and then I did not go home again until fall break. So it was like a 2.5 month time there that I didn't get to go home. But my family is really good about trying to come and see me every 2 to 3 weeks if I don't have the chance to go home, just to like keep the relationship good, and like so they can see me, I can see them, like I can just get like that good family time with them. But definitely, like, just trying to call and talk to your family at least once a day is one of the biggest things I could encourage anyone to do. At first, it's going to be annoying because you're going to be like, why do I need to call and talk to them? Like, what's the point? I've talked to them every day for like 18 years. But like, as you get older, you are going to realize like you should have done that. You're going to wish you would have done it when you came in.
Big facts.
Thank you for your honesty. We appreciate that. And I tell families, I work with incoming families every day. And so what I tell them is to have that conversation with your student, and that way, set those expectations. And then you just have that, just talk about when you're going to talk about talking. So that's,
yeah, because it is going to be different for everybody based on like the relationship you had before you came. So like our situations might not even be like close to comparable to your situations, but that is something to definitely, like she said, talk about before you come, just to like set those guidelines for it.
But the majority of families that I've talked to, and students as well, that their relationships are strengthened after the student goes to college.
For sure.
Vast majority, for sure. So we have that off-campus support system you talked about, your family, whether it be traditional or chosen family. We all have families, hopefully off campus, that we have some support and we can lean on. What about, and you on campus, people that you can lean on and support? Morgan mentioned a couple offices she works with and your teams. So we try to be cheerleaders as best we can when you need us, faculty and staff on campus. So talk about how you interact with faculty and staff on campus, and how they support you, but also push and encourage you as well.
I would say your on-campus support is literally everywhere. Like every corner you turn, you're going to see somebody that's like a familiar face. They're going to ask like, how are you? How are you doing? Can I do anything for you? Like literally everywhere you go on campus. I feel like literally every person in every office is in some way, form, or fashion like my mom or my dad. Like, there's people that I know I can go and talk to when I just need somebody to, like, be nice to me, tell me what I want to hear. And then there's people I need to go talk to when I need the tough love, like, okay, tell me how it is, like, make me cry if I need to cry, but I need to hear it from you today. And, like, you're going to find those people on your own as you go throughout here. But for me, like, literally, I feel like every person I've met up here is, like, my second mom or second dad. There's literally Miss Mandy in Student Success. I text her and wish her a happy Mother's Day every year, just because, like, she's literally became, like, my campus mom. She gives me the tough love and when I need to hear it stuff.
Sure. I mean, I definitely agree. I feel like every corner of campus has that support. It can come from coaches, it can come from another student, or it can come from all the faculty that we have. Every faculty on this campus, I feel like the campus kind of targets them when they hire, or, you know, as that support. And we have 2 professional counselors on campus. And so if you need maybe a prolonged thing, or maybe just need to vent to someone, we have professional counselors. But also, if you just need someone to just sit there and listen to you, I mean, there's so many staff on campus, starting with student success. Those advisors are more than just advisors. They're more like mentors. And so, yes, they'll help you start your classes, but they'll go beyond that. They'll ask you, you know, how's your family doing? How's the adjustment to college? How's sports going? Things like that, just to check on you and see how you're doing, and also see if they can help in any way. So, I mean, that's all over campus. And I mean, it's really needed when you're going through all the stuff that you're going through in college. I mean, exams and trying to be a 4.0 student, and, you know, trying to be a good person at the end of the day. It's tough.
I would say, like, if you don't feel like you have that family on campus, then I feel like you're almost closing yourself off, because usually, like, you don't even go looking for it. They're just like pop up one day, like, oh, hey, Morgan, how you doing today? Like, I heard this and this, and we need to talk about it. And it's just like, they literally are like your parents. They figure out stuff about you before you even get the chance to try to tell them about it. But literally, like, if you want that family on campus, you're going to find it here 110%.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So now let's talk about some fun stuff. Students, questions. Do we have any questions from our audience? Okay. Fun stuff. Some of the student activities. Talk about some of the traditional student activities we have and some of your favorites that you have on campus. I know. And then talk about some of the activities off campus, that non-campus, non-UPike related area activities you like to do.
My 110,000% absolute favorite thing on campus is called Splash Bash. It usually happens in September of every year. I don't know, like, with the COVID restrictions and stuff, like, if it'll happen, if it'll be different, anything like that. But it's called Splash Bash, and it's literally like a big, giant dance paint party thing. They have a DJ that comes in, and, like, all of like our student activities board, like, everybody that helps plan student activities throw glow paint on you all night. There's glow lights in there, and it's literally just like a fun night. Only UPike students can get into that. You do have to have a UPike ID to get in, but it's such a fun night to just hang out with your friends, chill out on a Saturday night. And they usually, like, it's such a popular event. Everybody loves it. They usually try to target it for a weekend that, like, all athletic teams are at home, or as many athletic teams that can be at home are at home, just so as many students as possible have the opportunity to go to that.
Yeah, and we have like a group called the CAB, which is Campus Activities Board, and literally they're entitled. Their job is to just bring activities to campus. So if you feel like, oh, well, I heard Pikeville is a small city, or there's not much to do, like, they bring all the fun to us. They bring laser tag. They bring, like, all sorts of stuff. And if you're a person, maybe you've done something in high school and you want to bring it to college, or maybe you heard something that another college is doing, that's only one conversation with Luke Cobb, who's the director of that. And he can bring it to campus. I mean, he has a budget. He can get all the supplies. And so that's just one conversation away. So technically, we can have any event that you want. And off-campus events that have nothing to do with UPike, we have a bowling alley. We do have free bowling nights, but if you just want to bowl by yourself, you can do that. We also have, I mean, we're in Eastern Kentucky, and there's mountains everywhere. We have a bunch of trails. We have the Breaks, which is not far of a drive away, and it has one of the best overlooks, in my opinion, in the area in Kentucky. And so we have the Y right here, which is YMCA. We have a pool now, a swim team if you're ever interested in swimming. There's a bunch of hiking trails over there. There's a track up there if you want to work out.
They have like kayaking and stuff up there as well, horseback riding. We do have
Zip
a theater downtown. They have zip lining up there. So like there's a ton of stuff to find off campus to do. But I was also going to talk about we have like monthly events, so events that happen like every single month on campus. One of them is free bingo night. So you literally play bingo and they give away like crazy prizes. It's not like come and play bingo and we'll give you a piece of candy if you win. They give away like TVs, mini fridges. I've seen like record players, like gaming systems. Like it's crazy stuff. It's stuff to like make you want to come and play. And it, like you don't have to pay anything to get in. You just have to have your EPIC ID to get in. But they just like want to give you something to do on like weekend nights. We also have Wing and Sing once a month, which is like they have wings catered in, and then we have karaoke night. So you literally get to sit there, eat you some wings, and everybody sings karaoke. He also said free bowling night. That's usually the first Thursday of every month down at the bowling alley. But the school pays for like whoever wants to go bowl for free for 2 hours. So it's just a night to like hang out with your friends. You can go bowling. Is that all the monthly events?
Yeah, I mean, What's Up Wednesday is with Student Success.
Yeah, and it's basically like they usually have somebody like sponsor it, like a different department on campus sponsor that each week, and like they have food catered in from different places, and like it's just like you can come get you some comfort food. If you need to go back to studying, you can come grab some food, go to study. If not, you can grab some food and hang out at whatever event they're having that night. One of them is like
The first and last.
The first and last What's Up Wednesday every year is like a campfire. So they have live music. You can roast marshmallows. You can roast hot dogs, and it's just kind of like getting you acquainted at first to like campus, giving you the opportunity to like meet some people, different stuff like that. Then the last one of the year is always sad because you love everybody here and you're hanging out with them for maybe the last time before everybody heads home, and it's just like a good time to get out. It's usually every other Wednesday, so they have them throughout each semester. It's just a good time to go out, hang out with your friends, like take the edge off if you're like having a hard time studying, take the edge off of that, hang out with them, and then go back like recouped, ready to study more.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. Still watching the chat for questions, so guys, you can still pop questions in there if you have anything. Talk about living on campus. Being in the residence halls and working there and making that transition, because most students have come from a home where they may have their own bedroom and their own TV and their own everything, right? And their own there's privacy. Then you're living in a shared space. So talk about that transition and kind of debunk some of those myths, and then also safety along with that, living somewhere different too.
One thing before either of us talk about this that I will say is me and Shek pretty much consistently since we moved here our freshman year have lived here year round. Like we live here fall semester, spring semester, and then all summer long too. So like we have been to every dorm on this campus. We've stayed in every dorm. So it's really like it's easily done because we do it literally for the past 4 years. This is going to be our 4th year straight doing it.
Like if you're a type of person that comes to college and you want the biggest room, you want your own bathroom, your room to yourself, AC unit that goes as cold as warm as you want it, fancy bed, king size, like that. You won't get that at no college unless you're moving off campus. And so college is to me, it's not about your living situation. It's about the opportunities you have to set yourself up to be successful. And that starts outside of your bedroom to me. And so these are livable conditions. I mean, it's not the best in the world, but it does the job. I mean, you have I really like how each dorm is styled in different ways, and so after your first year, you get to choose based off of your liking. So if you're a person who like we have dorms which is like it has a kitchen, or we have dorms that have like a common room, living room area, and you choose based off your liking. If you're a person who likes to eat a lot, then you can have a kitchen. If you're a person, you're going to have a lot of friends over, you can have the living room. And we also have options that have both of those. And so you get to choose. You can have like a whole suite with just you and your friends. Like if you have 7 other teammates or best friends and you all in a group, you can have a whole suite together and it's just you all. And so you just make it, you make it, I mean, the best you can. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's great if you make it great. Like if you just, this is not the same room I have at home and things like that, then you're gonna get that negative aspect. But if you just be like, okay, I got a bed, not many people have a bed to sleep on, or at least I have food, I have meals all day, I have unlimited swipes, then you can just make the best of it that way.
I would agree. It is going to be like what you make of it. If you mope around and think it's the worst thing in the world, then that's what you're going to make it be. But freshman year, it's usually like 2 people to a room, 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 dressers. You have a closet along the walls. Most freshman dorms, we have 3 freshman dorms. Condit and Wickham are community style living. So you have like the hallways, rooms are on the outside of those hallways, and then bathrooms in the middle usually. And like I personally lived in Darien my freshman year. Darien is Jack and Jill style, so you have a room on each side, bathroom in the middle. And like I did enjoy like having the bathroom to myself, but one of my best friends lived in Condit, and I was always so jealous because like in Darien, like you have your bathroom in your dorm, like in with unless you're living. But whenever I would go over to her room and hang out with her, like the whole floor's doors were open, like they were going in and out of each other's rooms. And it's because like you have to get out of your room, you have to talk to people, you have to see people over there. And literally their entire floor became like best friends. And I was just so jealous because I was like, I just want to like be walking through my floor and just like go in and out of these random rooms. Like I wanted that. So like it's going to be what you make of it. Like you could make it an experience like that where you're best friends with everybody on the floor, or you could mope around and make it like I'm stuck in my room with nobody. Like it's literally going to be what you make of it.
And if you're a resident on campus, a lot of free things that come with it is free parking, which is a huge deal. Many schools probably charge you each semester to park on campus. At this school is 100% free.
Free laundry.
Yeah.
You don't pay to wash your clothes or dry them. Most places, one of my friends lives off campus, she pays $1.25 every load of laundry, washing and drying she does. On campus, it's completely free.
Free printing, like all that
stuff. We also have free textbooks now, which is a huge lifesaver.
Yeah. I've bought textbooks that have been like $350 just one. So
I have spent at least $500 a semester on textbooks every semester that I've been at school. So free textbooks, free people coming in that are freshmen. I'm very jealous.
And this is just not all the students know this yet, but I work with the summer crew, and it's just a crew on campus that we do all the busy work, anything from checking rooms for work orders to painting things. And we have completely like redone a lot of the dorms on campus and also the student lounge. So it's a lot of exciting news coming up. I don't want to reveal everything yet. Some of it has been revealed on Facebook, but there's exciting news coming to the freshman halls and then also the student lounge in Wickham. So it's going to be exciting.
That's awesome. I know you guys have done a lot of work this summer, and it's a time to freshen up and clean up and get ready. It's a very exciting time. Summers are different on campus, but it's exciting to get ready for students. One thing, talk about safety on campus, about how the role of safety, how you interact with public safety, and just the services you kind of lean on them for.
So public safety is in 24/7, 365. So even when we're not on campus, they're still here doing their job, keeping us safe. I personally feel like we have a very safe campus. It's really small. I've never had an experience where I'm like walking around late at night by myself or anything. I'm like uncomfortable or anything like that. But public safety, one really cool thing with them is like if you are walking across campus late at night and you just feel like something's off, you feel like something's just like not okay, you can actually call public safety and they will come to where you are, pick you up and take you to where you're going. Like they'll escort you so that you don't have to walk alone and feel like unsafe in that situation or anything. Also, something that I just learned this past year is like public safety, you're going to see them every day. They do hourly rounds around campus. You're going to see them in the cafeteria. You're going to get to know them. You're going to talk to them. You're going to be comfortable around them. And like say you're off campus at like Walmart or somewhere, your keys get locked in your car, you can actually call public safety and they will come help you instead of having to call like the police. And I just feel like that's better because like public safety is people you're around, you know, like if you lock your keys in your car, you're already going to be like on edge, like, oh my gosh, why would I do this? And it's just going to be better to have somebody coming to help you that like you know you're comfortable around them.
Definitely. Any other questions? Because we're getting ready to wrap up. That's almost our hour. No? I think you guys have done a great job explaining things. What's one note you would say, one final piece of advice to an incoming student and their families that may be tuning in? One piece of advice.
I would just say get involved. Like my freshman year when I came in and I was like really nervous to myself, I would like go to class every day, go eat lunch, go back to my room, sit in my room until cheer practice, go to cheer practice, come back, sit in my room. Like I wasn't really putting myself out there because like I had never had somebody to tell me to like get involved when you go to college, like make sure you do that. I just stayed in my comfort zone of like the people I knew and kind of chilled out. And then probably about 2-3 weeks into school starting, I actually started going into student success. And like I made a lot of friends in there, and literally since then I've not left student success. I'm going to be a senior. They're freshman advisors, but they can't kick me out of there if they want to. But just like get involved, make those connections. Connections are huge. There's so many like people on campus that like I can just go to and be like, hey, I'm needing like a donation for cheer. Do you know anybody in town? And like one person can give me 5 different things because I'm not from here. I don't know a lot of stuff in town. But one person on campus can give me 5 different things. If 5 people give me 5 things, that's 25 things I have. So like, so just make those connections, get involved, like put yourself out there because you're not going to regret it.
Sure. And connections, just to pick up on that, it's a huge deal. I mean, connections in college, and it starts to develop when you get out of college too. Like if you're a person, you want to be in a certain career, just from building connections in college, you can get those opportunities outside of college. I mean, after you graduate, you can turn back to people at UPike for recommendations and things like that. And so it goes a long way. But if you're just not going to talk to anyone, just going to stay in your room, then you can't. It's almost impossible to build those connections because you have to put yourself out there. Yeah, and so I just say if you're looking for a small school with people who really care about you, people like every faculty, all the people around here, they look at you and they want you to be successful. When they ask you how's your day going, they really mean it. They really mean it. And so if you just say good, they're gonna be like, oh, is it good? Like, are you sure? Like they really, really care about your success. And so I fell in love with this area, not only because of academics and because I found what I wanted in social work, but also the support I have with the staff and faculty here. I mean, I feel like they really do care about my success and my well-being and who I become as a man and who everyone becomes as adults. And so their number one goal is to just make sure you're okay and just to set you up for a great and successful life. And so, I mean, I'm biased, but this is the place to be. This is I promise, it's well worth it if you give it a chance.
Yay. I think it's a perfect note to end on. Thank you guys for spending your time with us today and sharing your insights on being a campus student. I don't know of any 2 people that love UPike more. Really, I don't know. I mean, I love it. Been there for a long, long time, but I know you guys love it. Love it. Represent. I got mine on too. Families. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much, and bye.
Bye.
See you.